Hi everyone, Jean here. Yep, this is my sage. I am saging this YouTube streets and myself. It's just, saging is such a beautiful way of cleansing your vibration, your negativity, releasing all the things that has attached to you, since the last time you see people or didn't see people, or just when you want to clear your vibration and clear your energy and basically feel really good. Sage is really good for when you're praying as well. It's good for clearing. Oh, look at that. I just made a little bit of a mess here. It's actually also good for clearing your environment, your home. You can clear your workspace, so sage is a very mighty, I wouldn't call it a herb, but I would call it a very mighty medicine, especially inside of the indigenous community. Sage is one of those tools and medicine that has been given to the indigenous people. And this is something that is really clear to know. Almost all the sage that I burned is sage that I have harvested myself in a very, I would say, in a very harmonious spiritual way, that I harvest the sage just before the summertime. And I do it in community. So we have it sage for all of us that is in community that, do go to Sweat Lodge and do all the spiritual things when it comes to walking the path of the red road inside of the indigenous community. So some of the medicine that the indigenous people use, apart from the sage, there is the sage, the cedar, the sweetgrass, and the tobacco. And the tobacco is king when it comes to medicine in the indigenous community. And the tobacco is you can take tobacco. The tobacco is an offering for your prayer. So if you're praying for something specific, or you're praying generally for your family, your friends, for life, for your sickness, whatever you're praying for, you can make an offering. It's an exchange. So it's like you're giving this offering to the creator, to the earth, to the environment, so that you can have that exchange. Because in life, everything is an exchange. So when you're using the tobacco is very much, it's like, it's like currency. It's the biggest currency you can have, in a sense. So whenever um, you're going to see an elder, or you're going to ask someone for prayer, one of the things you can bring for them is tobacco. Actually, that's the main thing you should bring for them, is tobacco. Because when you bring tobacco, you saying to that elder, you saying to that community, I respect your traditions, I respect your spirituality, I respect the that what you have done, uh for us in this society, whether or not we know it. And it is an honoring. So you want to bring tobacco. Yes, if you want to bring some, they never ask for cash. If you want to do that, that is up to you. It could be, you can offer it for wood, for, as a contribution for blankets, whatever. But when it comes to the medicine is these four things. So it is the sage, cedar, sweetgrass, and the tobacco. And I usually have all that medicine with me. I actually have just given away my sweetgrass as a gift to someone, so I don't have the sweetgrass. But oh no, I have a small one here. So this is a small one, but I do have sweetgrass. And oh my God, it smells so good. And I also have my cedar as well. I have some cedar. Sorry, I just have something in it. So I have my cedar, and you can see it is with the red thread. And ooh, this is so potent and so nice. And this was a gift that was given to me as well. So I have sweetgrass in here. I have a cedar. I have my lots of my sage, and I do have my tobacco as well. So those are things that I carry with me. And I'm just letting you guys know this because I happen to be saging as I come on, and I started saging on my channel now about not even a week ago. And I realized I just love it when I come and I sit to have a conversation with the people who is out there, especially the misfits, the people that don't feel like they belong, the people that don't feel like especially they cannot be put into a box, the people that is multifaceted, the people that are wizard and witches and spiritual being, the people that is walking the spiritual path, whether or not you just beginning or you get here, wherever you are, the mystic, all of you beautiful people, you out there, I am out here doing my thing, and just sharing myself and sharing, the idea for me with this channel is it's almost like I'm just documenting my life here. And my hope is that you follow me and you subscribe to my channel, and you like my content, and that would help me a lot. And all of that is free for you to do. I'll be so grateful. I'm already grateful, to be honest with you. I'm already grateful just sitting here speaking to that one person who is out there hanging out with me and cheering me on, like I'm cheering you on out there. So this evening, basically, last night I was talking to my now husband, and yeah, my husband, me and him was talking on the phone because he don't live here with me at the moment. He still lives in Grenada, but he should be here anytime. Well, at some point. And we were talking, and we were just going on, having our normal evening chat, and the topic that came up was spirituality and healing. And then I start saying, well, you cannot have spirituality without the healing, and you cannot really have the healing without the spirituality. And I'm not talking about um, physical healing, physical accident. I'm speaking on, the three top things that you need to heal to be in light, to be in alignment with what you want in life, and to really actually clear up that trauma and the trauma that you carry in your life, right? So the three things that you really need to heal is the things that, number one, it is the things that you are ashamed of. Find someone to talk to about your shame. Because when we have shame in our life, shame is a very low vibration, and shame could really cripple you. Shame could keep you hiding for the rest of your life. I know what I'm saying. When I was actually in my early 20s, when I had what they consider to be an incident. I call it an incident, a breakdown of some sort, and I end up in a mental hospital for a period of time, not for a long time, but, part of a year, in this mental institution. And when I came out, a couple months after that, I end up in this country. Basically, I've been in Canada now. I might say what we in right now. We are in 2026. I've came to Canada in the 80s. So I've been here already more than almost 30, almost 40 years, I would say. No, maybe not quite 40 because I'm aging myself more than I am. I think somewhere around maybe 37 years. Maybe I'll calculate it some other time, but you can do the math. I came around 86, and now we in 2026. So that's a few years there since I've been here. And so for me, going, going to a mental hospital, as a patient, of course, on a small island, because I was in Grenada at the time, that was a big trauma for me. That was the biggest trauma in my life, the hardest thing I've ever done. And although the people in my neighborhood knew that, well, they didn't know what was wrong with me personally. Neither did the doctor, because there was technically nothing wrong with me. But that is a whole other story. I may have to write a second book. But what ended up happening is that shame, it took me more than 25 years before I tell people outside of the island that knew about me, before I told them my story. I couldn't tell my story. I was too ashamed. I was too buried inside of it. And even when I wrote my book and got it published in 2015, um yeah, in 2015 I published my book Secret of an Island Girl. And even when I published the book, I wrote the book self-published, and I did it all myself, so the book is still a little raw but very real, and it's a quick read. And when I wrote the book and published it, I remember, um, the day, a few days after publishing, I did an interview. I did more than one interview with a local newspaper here in Banff and Kenmore at the time. And I remember coming out the road and going to our local grocery store, because we have two grocery store in Banff. And I went to the big grocery store to pick up the newspaper. And when I pick up the newspaper, the first thing I read was a quote from one of my friends. Actually, on the back of my book, there is, one of my friends that read the book. She wrote in the back of the book, and basically, she actually said that I'm a prostitute in the in the information in the back of the book. That is written there, and I'm telling you, the shame. I was so still ashamed. Reading the article, there was two articles in the newspaper as well. One was written by a woman and one was written by a man. And the one written by a man, oh my God, like I read that and I was like, who is that? That is not me. Here I am living in a small community and I have just outed myself. Like I out myself in this small community. And all I really wanted was to get on a bus. I wanted to get on a bus and leave town. Like literally, I wanted to get on a bus and leave town. I couldn't, I was hiding. And I think I even hide for like more than 5 years after that, although the book is out there. Because one of the things that show me that even now that I still hide, although I'm finally telling you guys, I have mentioned it on my channel a couple times, but here is where I hide in a sense, because I'm still hiding in some form. I never really tell people that I meet that I write a book. Usually someone else would say, Jean write a book? Do you know Jean is an author? Not exactly a writer, because I write that one book and I haven't written anymore. But I think that honestly, I've been put on this earth to write and I haven't been doing what part of my purpose is. And that is probably sheer laziness or fear. There is some fear around there that I don't have the right people to help me. And it was so hard the first time. I need help the second time. It's not hard to write a book. The challenge come with having someone to edit the book and having to publish the book. Because when you get writing and you have an understanding of how to write, you can write a book. So coming back to that shame, I'm still in a space where I do not tell people that I write a book. And I mean my everyday people that I meet a lot. I don't even think my roommate, who I've been living with for more than 2 years now. Um, yeah, I've been living together with my roommate here since 2023, with 2026. We're going on 3 years now since I've been living in this space and I have a roommate. And I've never once tell my roommate that I wrote a book. Could you, never once, it hasn't come up. I mean, and we do have conversation, we do talk about different things, but it never came up. So in a sense, I'm still harboring a little bit of that. But the good news is a lot of the people that know me very well, my friends, and some of my friends, they know that I've written a book. So that is really good news because there are people that actually know that I've written a book. But that has been my shame, the fact that I've been in a mental hospital. Um, for many years, I walk around with whether or not people would think that I'm still nuts, and I think that's one of the reason why I have this fear of putting myself out there because um that was something that was a trauma and a big part of my past. But um but I'm living inside of the fear. I'm doing what I have to do, especially at this time. It took me 100 years to get here, basically 63 years to be where I'm at the point where what you have to say really wouldn't affect me, because the kind of work that I have done on myself, the kind of healing that I have done, which is part of the spiritual healing. I'm going to read something about it in a moment, because when I say that spirituality is an inner journey and healing is an inner journey. So when you go in, to find your creator, to find your God, to find your universe, to find your alignment, to find your chakra, to find who you are in at your core, to really communicate, to be in commune with your soul, you have to clear up all the things, and that is healing. So they both go together. You cannot really be spiritual and not really healed, unless you're doing the whole bypassing thing, what some spiritual people do, or and spirituality, I hope you understand, it's not religion. It's just not religion. Religious people has been corrupting the world, well, since the turn of the century, and we all know that. So there's a huge difference with being religious and being spiritual. And how I say it is that when you are spiritual, when you go into really becoming a spiritual being, or studying spirituality and healing, what end up happening is that you eliminate the middleman. So there is you and God. There is no you, the church, and then God. There is no middleman. There is no person in the middle interpreting the Bible for you. No person in the middle interpreting what your inner soul need for you. You are doing that on your own. So keep that in mind. Spirituality, for me, when I'm saying it, is that it's basically mean that you eliminate the middleman. You don't have anybody preaching to you what they think that the gospel of God is. You can preach your own gospel. I love that about spirituality. Now, the second thing that that need to be healed is blame. You cannot go around blaming everybody for your problem. You cannot go around making everybody responsible for who you are. And hear people, I hear people do it. I see them doing it. I see people standing inside of the blame that this person make me do this. This person, even I, from time to time, would say something like that, oh my God, this person just upset me. Well, this person technically didn't upset me. I am upset over something I heard, you know. My triggers, my trauma get triggered, and therefore I am upset. But the person, what they say or what they do shouldn't affect me in the sense that I can blame them. So there is stuff that happened that, um, what happened to me a few days ago. Yes, a woman decided to, you know, go ahead of me when I was first in line at a specific place here. And in a sense, what I did, because I was upset and I had every right to be upset, right? Did I stay in the victim space of blaming and shaming? Not really, because here is what I understood. It was my turn, not her turn. And I understood that I can complain about that, right? Because it was my turn, not hers. But she think her stuff was more important than me. Now, do I spend my time victimizing myself and, going on and on? No. What I said clearly was, Well, here is someone that is not living in the conscious, in her conscious world, because if she was living consciously, she would be aware. So she's not aware, because consciousness is awareness. It's as simple as that. When we get conscious, we become aware of mainly our surroundings and the things that we do or the things that we don't do. And from time to time, I tend to complain. So you really don't want to spend your life inside of blame. You want to find a way to forgive. You want to find a way to forgive all the people that you blame in, and take some responsibility for yourself, take some responsibility for your own life, and sit inside of that. And when we talking about blame, the biggest thing here is to find forgiveness. I've heard Oprah say many times over, like many times over, that you cannot, being upset and mad at someone else is like actually drinking the poison yourself and think that you harming them, and the next thing you know, you see them walking down the road smiling and laughing and having a good life, while you are out here blaming and blaming them and making them responsible, and hating them, and oh, let's face it, we are doing this in the world right now. you know like, you don't have to look far. Look outside your door these days. Look in America. Look at what is happening in the world. Although I'm not going to go there, but I'm just saying that it is very easy to be in blame right now. And it's okay to complain. Get a bad rap, because when someone say we are complaining, they always make it sound like there she goes complaining again. And if we take out the bad rap that we give complain, and we can complain, there are certain things that is happening in America that nobody like, and we can have a complaint. And yeah, we feel hurt and we get angry, and there is nothing wrong with righteous anger. There is nothing wrong with feeling hurt and crying. There is nothing wrong with releasing the energy of what you're feeling, because anger is just another energy. It's just another, a way of us to release what is within us. We do not have to carry our anger as hate. We do not have to carry our hurt as hate. We do not have to look at our neighbor and hate them. Yeah, we may not want to talk to our neighbor, and that is okay. It's okay to not talk to a few people. It's okay to not, the whole world doesn't have to be your friend. What is not okay is harboring that. It's like harboring it. It's like, oh, my neighbor don't talk to me. Fine. I see him, I don't have to say hello, but I don't have to harbor it. It doesn't have to be a hard sell for me. Right? And so the third thing that you need to heal, to come into, to be more in alignment with who you are, and to be more in alignment with your spirit and your soul, and all the things that become in alignment for you. I'm going to go back here and just kind of read what it means to be in alignment. So, spiritual alignment is the harmonious, conscious integration of your mind, your body, and spirit with your higher self, your soul purpose, or your universal divine energy. It means operating from a place of authenticity, like from the truth. Where thoughts, action, and desire, everything is in sync. Yes, I am reading that from, what I print out here on my computer, because I just want you to get all the essence of that, right? And so the third thing to really release and to work on is judgment. And when I say work on your judgment, I mean not even judging the other people, because I have a little trick. I have this really good insight for you. Self-judgment. We judge ourselves harshly, like so harsh. We judge ourselves like no other would judge us. We judge all the things. We judge, like, for instance, an example of me judging myself is I would judge my hair because I feel that my hair is thinning now in this, at this point in my life. But the truth is, I have always had fine hair. My hair was never thick. I never had a whole bunch of thick hair. I've always had very fine, very soft, very, very soft, fine hair. And as I get older, it seemed to get, it's blowing in the wind, it's finer. So sometimes I'm like, I'm judging my hair. I tend to judge the fact that I don't have pearly whites, and I want to have like pearly whites, like all the famous people running around with their, $1 million smile. So this is something that I can be judging. I no longer judge myself, because if I did, I can tell you honestly, I would not be able to sit here and judge and talk to you. Honestly, I would not be able to do it, because I would spend too much time finding all the imperfection of who I am to judge. But judgment could be a lot more stronger than that. We call ourselves stupid. Oh, I should be doing this better. Oh, I cannot really let this go into the world because it's just not good enough. Oh, I am a perfectionist and there is no way I can, even show up if everything is not perfect. Oh, my pants is not fitting me, so I cannot go out today. I'm too fat. I'm too thin. I'm not eating enough. I am not well enough. I am not bright enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. The inner more hatred of self-judgment. I don't like myself. I hate myself. I should be somebody else. This is just an example of the things that we say to ourselves. And I know that you say it to yourself. I know you do, because that's what we have, our thoughts, the thoughts that flows into our mind, especially the one that is unconscious, and sometimes we don't know why we feeling what we feeling, but we have the thought before we have the feeling. So when you feel in a certain way, check what is going on in your mind. Check what you're saying to yourself. You need to check that, because that is the unconscious thing that is running your life. That is the unconscious energy, the unconscious spirit that is running your life. So you have to check that. The minute time, and then there is all the outer ways you judge yourself. Oh, I don't have a proper car. I don't have a car. I don't have enough money. I cannot do X, Y, and Z. Look at over there. My grass is not as green as my neighbors. And, my neighbors have this and I need that. And I cannot wear proper shoes. The point I'm trying to make is this. The more you judge yourself, well, a lot of the time we tend to think that we're not judging ourselves. We're judging others. But the more you release judgment for yourself, it's the more you're going to not have judgment for others. Because when you're judging people, you're judging yourself. When you see the woman walking down the road and you're like, oh my God, this person is X, Y, and Z, and you're judging, you are judging yourself. Every time you point your finger to someone else in judgment, you're really pointing your finger to yourself in judgment. Yeah, it's true. I'm talking to you, and I know it's a hard pill to swallow. But here is how some of the ways that I release my judgment. When I hear it, I check myself. That's it, right? Because there's a lot of things that is so ingrained in us, and it's so it's inside of the system that it is very hard for us to release it. Like when they're like, oh, let it go, let it go, let it go, release it, meditate, release it. Even that make me exhausted. The biggest thing is that you become aware. Your awareness tells you, oh, I am judging Tom. Mm, I am aware that I just judged Tom. I'm just going to release that energy, as opposed to leaving that energy stay with you. So that's the three top things I would say um, that need to be healed when you want to step into your alignment, when you want to raise your vibration. Because when you can heal that, you can raise your vibration. And I mentioned some of the ways to heal those things is what your shame, you need to talk to somebody. Find a psychologist, a trusted friend, a safe space, an elder, your parent. Go talk to them about whatever it is, they have harmed you in your life, and you need to release all that negativity. It would take more than a day because you have to release yourself from it, and you got to go through the process of it. You can write it out. You can burn it on a paper. What is the thing that you're carrying around that you don't even know that you're carrying around? And so many of us is carrying that thing that we don't know. But mainly, it's a whole ball of shame. It's a whole ball of we cannot express ourselves the way we need to express ourselves, especially us women, because, we have been capped. We all have been capped. And especially Black women, we have been extremely capped. So there is something that you should know. So that shame that you're carrying from your daddy and your mommy and your childhood and all the things, you want to really sit and release that by speaking on it. Because when you speak on it, and the more you speak about it, the more you release it from your system, somebody else would not be telling your story. The blame aspect, taking responsibility for yourself, you can fix that by forgiveness. Forgive yourself for forgive yourself for blaming others. Forgive the person that you're blaming. Get in harmony. Forgive them. You would forgive yourself if you forgive them. I know it sounds like blah blah blah, but it is blah blah blah. It is what you need to do. And it might take time. It's not an overnight fix. There's nothing to overnight fix. And when you can stop judging yourself, and to stop judging yourself, you really have to you have to get aware of the way that you judge yourself. And because when you stop judging yourself, automatically you stop judging others. So if you really want to stop judging the population and the world, you need to stop judging yourself, because that judgment, that's what you're doing is self-judgment to yourself. So those are the three things that you need to heal. Three off, maybe there's a whole long other list, but those for me, those are the top three. To lift your vibration, those things should be healed. Those are the things that Esther Hicks and most of the spiritual people should have been saying to begin with, because they, especially a lot of the people that talk about manifestation and talk about the secret and all these different things, like they want to manifest X, Y, and Z. You got to clean your vibration. You got to lift it. You got to raise your vibration. And they do tell you that you have to raise your vibration to the top. But those are the things you want to start with to release, so that you can start taking your vibration up and up, right? So the thing that I'm going to read for you now is spirituality and healing. So spirituality and healing practices, they share a common focus, right? Um, on restoring wholeness to an individual, addressing the interconnectedness of the mind, body, and spirit, rather than treating physical symptoms in isolation. Both fields prioritize the restoration of balance, meaning, and inner peace, often focusing on inner transformation, self awareness, and the release of emotional or energetic blocks. Excuse me, I just said all of that in a whole other way. I've just said all of that. So, what this is saying here, spirituality and healing, basically, they really do go hand in hand. They are common, it's a common focus, especially when both of those things, they prioritize the restoration of balance, um, meaning, and inner peace. Those things that often focus on inner transformation, self-awareness, and the release of emotional or energetic blockage. So to remove your emotional and energetic blockage, you start with your shame, your blame, and your judgment, and you walk yourself out from there. You walk your way down from there. You work to release yourself from that aspect, right? So you can raise your vibration, and and understand that to heal your inner self, your inner trauma, your inner drama, is to be in a form of spirituality. To walk inside of spirituality mean that you have to start healing what is happening inside that has blocked you to begin with. So I just love that. I just love that for you, and I just love that for me. So um, what I'll leave you with is, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like my channel. Yes, I'm a misfit. Don't seem to belong inside of a box. I do a lot of spiritual work in many different modalities, kind of different than just, I'm not exactly a person that sit and meditate, but that's how I had started my spiritual journey, and I'm so really grateful for that. So what I'll leave you with is, do less and be more, right? Be more of who you are, and do less of the things that doesn't bring you joy and happiness, because that is something too. When you're cultivating more joy and happiness, you are lifting your vibration a lot more. Energetically, you're going up and not down. Right, guys? Um, I'm going to sign off for this evening. And as I say, I do not edit my videos. So I'm going to move forward to take this off. Today, I am at 39 days of doing video every day. I'm going for 100 days, and I am going to go for the whole year, because I'm just finding ways to just get my video done. And I am so glad that you joined me today. So do less, be more. Have a good evening.